Chapter 10. Future of Corruption. Can it be eliminated? Corruption has existed for centuries, deeply embedded in political systems, corporate structures, and even everyday transactions. While it is nearly impossible to eradicate corruption entirely, significant progress can be made through stricter regulations, technological advancements, and active public participation. The future of corruption depends on how societies address the existing challenges, embrace digital transparency, and ensure strong political commitment to ethical governance. Challenges in fighting corruption. Despite numerous anti-corruption initiatives worldwide, several challenges hinder their effectiveness. One of the biggest obstacles is the entrenchment of corruption in political and economic systems. In many cases, those responsible for enforcing laws are themselves involved in corrupt activities, making it difficult to hold powerful individuals accountable. When law enforcement agencies and judicial systems are compromised, corruption thrives unchecked. Another challenge is public apathy and fear. Many citizens, especially in highly corrupt societies, believe that reporting corruption is useless or dangerous. The lack of protection for whistleblowers and the perception that justice will not be served discourage individuals from speaking out. Globalization and financial secrecy also present significant hurdles. Corrupt individuals and organizations often exploit international loopholes to hide illicit wealth in tax havens, making it difficult to trace and recover stolen assets. Despite international agreements and financial regulations, corrupt networks continue to evolve, using sophisticated methods to launder money and evade accountability. Additionally, corruption adapts to new forms. As governments strengthen anti-corruption laws, unethical actors find new ways to manipulate the system. From digital fraud to cryptocurrency-based money laundering, corruption continues to evolve, requiring constant vigilance and updated strategies to combat it effectively. Role of technology and digital transparency. Technology is one of the most powerful tools in the fight against corruption. Digital transparency initiatives have revolutionized the way governments, businesses, and civil society monitor and expose corruption. 1. Blockchain technology. Blockchain-based systems provide a secure and transparent way to track financial transactions, reducing the risk of fraud and manipulation. Many governments are exploring blockchain for public procurement, land records, and financial transactions to eliminate tampering and unauthorized changes. 2. E-governance platforms. The digitization of government services reduces human intervention, minimizing opportunities for bribery. Online tax filing, business registration, and digital identity verification streamline bureaucratic processes, making them more efficient and transparent. 3. Artificial intelligence AI and big data. AI-powered systems analyze vast amounts of financial data to detect suspicious patterns and anomalies that may indicate corruption. Automated auditing tools help identify red flags in government spending, procurement contracts, and election financing. 4. Crowdsourced anti-corruption reporting. Digital platforms and mobile applications enable citizens to report corruption anonymously. Real-time reporting tools allow governments and watchdog organizations to take immediate action against corrupt officials and organizations. 5. Open data initiatives. Governments worldwide are making public spending records, procurement details, and policy decisions available online. When citizens have access to this information, they can hold leaders accountable and demand greater transparency. While technology offers promising solutions, it is not a standalone fix. Corrupt individuals often find ways to exploit technology for their benefit, making it essential to combine digital tools with strong legal frameworks and enforcement mechanisms. Political will and public engagement. The success of any anti-corruption strategy depends on the political will of those in power. Without commitment from leaders, laws remain ineffective, and enforcement agencies lack the resources or authority to act. Political leaders must set an example by demonstrating integrity and ensuring that anti-corruption laws apply to all, regardless of status or position. Public engagement is equally important. When citizens actively participate in governance, demand transparency, and refuse to tolerate corruption, it creates a culture of accountability. Civic education, media awareness, and grassroots movements empower people to recognize and challenge corrupt practices in their communities. Many successful anti-corruption movements have been driven by public pressure. Peaceful protests, social media campaigns, and investigative journalism have led to policy changes, resignations of corrupt officials, and the strengthening of anti-corruption institutions. The collective voice of the people remains one of the most powerful forces in the fight against corruption. Conclusion. While eliminating corruption entirely may be unrealistic, minimizing its impact is achievable through continuous efforts in legal enforcement, technological advancements, and active civic participation. The future of corruption will be shaped by how effectively societies adapt to emerging challenges, embrace digital transparency, and demand ethical governance. With strong political will and public engagement, corruption can be significantly reduced, creating fairer and more just societies for future generations.
If you want a book written on any other topic, I can write it for you. You can comment without any hesitation. If you enjoyed this book, let me know in the comments. Your feedback helps me create more valuable content for you. Single quotes. Forget to like this video, subscribe to my channel, share with your friends. If you're interested in more books like this, tell me, I'll bring more insightful content for you.
Chapter 11. Conclusion. corruption remains one of the most significant challenges to economic growth, social justice, and political stability worldwide. It undermines trust in institutions, weakens democracy, and diverts resources meant for public welfare. Throughout this book, we have explored the various facets of corruption, its causes, impact on society, real-world case studies, anti-corruption measures, and the role of technology and civil society. This final chapter summarizes key findings, presents recommendations for combating corruption, and calls upon citizens, governments, and organizations to take collective action. Key findings and suggestions for anti-corruption practices. 1. Corruption is deeply rooted but not inevitable. While corruption has existed for centuries, history has shown that societies that implement strong anti-corruption measures can significantly reduce its prevalence. Countries with transparent governance, robust legal systems, and active civic participation have lower levels of corruption. 2. Legal and institutional frameworks are essential. Strong anti-corruption laws, independent judicial systems, and empowered investigative bodies are critical in the fight against corruption. Governments must ensure that laws are not only enacted but also enforced without bias or political interference. 3. Whistleblower protection is crucial. Fear of retaliation prevents many individuals from exposing corruption. Governments and organizations must create safe and anonymous reporting mechanisms, along with legal protections for whistleblowers. 4. Technology can be a game changer. Digital transparency tools, such as blockchain, artificial intelligence, and e-governance platforms can reduce human involvement in bureaucratic processes, minimizing opportunities for bribery and fraud. Public access to open data also enhances accountability. 5. Public awareness and education drive long-term change. Citizens must be informed about their rights and the consequences of corruption. Schools, universities, and media campaigns should emphasize ethical leadership, civic responsibility, and the importance of transparency. 6. Political will determine success. Corruption cannot be eliminated without commitment from those in power. Leadership must prioritize integrity over personal or political gain. Elected officials, government agencies, and corporate leaders must set an example by adhering to ethical governance. 7. Collective action is necessary. The fight against corruption is not the responsibility of a single entity. Governments, private sectors, media, NGOs, and citizens must work together to expose, prevent, and punish corruption at all levels. Stronger international cooperation is also needed to combat cross-border financial crimes and tax evasion. A call to action for citizens, governments, and organizations. For citizens, awareness and engagement are key. Speak out against corruption, report unethical practices, and support transparency initiatives. Demand accountability from leaders and participate in civic movements that promote good governance. For governments, strengthen anti-corruption laws, ensure the independence of investigative bodies, and promote digital governance. Political leaders must commit to ethical governance, making corruption prevention a national priority. For organizations, private companies must adopt transparent business practices, refuse to engage in bribery, and implement strong corporate governance policies. NGOs and media organizations should continue their role as watchdogs, exposing corruption and educating the public. Final thoughts. The battle against corruption is difficult, but not impossible. With continuous efforts, technological advancements, and a commitment to ethical governance, corruption can be minimized, creating a more just and fair society. Every individual, from government leaders to ordinary citizens, has a role to play in this fight. By fostering a culture of integrity, demanding accountability, and supporting anti-corruption reforms, we can build a future where honesty prevails over greed, and justice triumphs over corruption. This book serves as a guide and a call to action, because the fight against corruption is not just a legal or political issue, but a moral and societal responsibility. The choice is ours: accept corruption as an inevitable reality, or take a stand to create a world where transparency, fairness, and justice define our institutions and societies. The time for action is now. Final words. Corruption is not just a legal offense. It is a betrayal of trust that weakens the foundation of society. The fight against corruption begins with awareness, honesty, and the courage to stand against injustice. Every action, no matter how small, contributes to a more transparent and fair world. True change is possible when citizens, leaders, and organizations commit to integrity and accountability. A society built on justice, fairness, and ethical governance is not an impossible dream. It is a goal worth striving for. Let us choose honesty over greed, responsibility over negligence, and truth over deception. The future depends on the choices we make today.
If you want a book written on any other topic, I can write it for you. You can comment without any hesitation.